The woman just moved her thighs, and her skirt rips open. She tries to hide her embarrassment, takes off her jacket and wraps it around her waist, to cover her hips. It's her first day of interviewing for a caregiver, wearing her mother's decades-old suit, but she experienced embarrassment. What's even more speechless is, when she saw who she was working for, the woman was shocked. What an oddball. The man also had a sharp eye to notice that her skirt was torn. Remind her directly in front of everyone. As long as I'm not embarrassed, it is others who are embarrassed. The woman still opened her mouth and smiled, introducing herself graciously.
I'm Lou.
Despite being humiliated, she can't help it. This job pays well. Her family of 5 depends on her. Mom and dad were unemployed. Her sister was unmarried and pregnant with a child. She had to bow down to the rich. Lisa was an optimist by nature. What she likes most is to study clothes, the color of her body, just like her mood every day. It was colorful. But in Will's eyes, she's just another caregiver who's about to be thrown out. She is not treated well all day long. Even the words she spoke, she was insulted by every word. Every word was mocking. Although Lisa was shocked, but she was only secretly depressed. She got her emotions together, and then appear in front of Will every day on time. Will looked at this girl's positive and optimistic appearance, is also a helpless face. This day, Lisa came to work, but Will's mother warned her.
Friends of Will's is unexpected.
And I'll make myself scarce.
Yes, that would be good.
It turns out, it's Will's ex-girlfriend and best friend visiting him, and they got together after Will became paralyzed. Will pretended not to care, but inside is very angry, so much so that after his friends left, he broke all the frames of his friends' photos. The sound of breaking glass, Lisa worried and ran into the room to check. She felt sorry for the man in front of her. Her heart felt a little sad. The next day, she bought glue. She carefully glued the broken picture frame, but when Will saw it, angrily accused her of meddling. He even called her an idiot, wearing ugly clothes every day. It was useless. These personal attacks, Lisa could not stand it anymore. She retorted in a fierce voice, and asked Will to show her some respect.
Not because I care about you or particularly enjoy your company, but because I need the money. I really need the money.
Will was silent. He didn't continue his sarcasm with Lisa. He seemed to realize his mistake. That day, Will asked Lisa to put on a movie for him, and ordered her to watch it with him. What seemed like a forceful order, but it was an arrogant plea for peace. Their relationship is slowly changing. Will no longer keeps his heart closed to Lisa, the perfect man with 8-pack abs, a young man with over $100 million in assets, a beautiful girlfriend, a job that pays every second. But fate played a joke on him. A car accident left him paralyzed. His body lost the ability to sweat, so he couldn't dissipate heat. The slightest chill, he would get a high fever. So, in the cold winter of snow, the doctor had to undress him, blow him with a fan, and then use wet towels to cool him down. It took a long time before he could be stabilized. Lisa watched videos of Will's old life. The man who shone everywhere he went. Now he was in such a sorry state. She understood Will's self-esteem more and more. Lisa became more attentive to Will. Even when she was off work, she insisted on staying by his bedside, until she saw Will open his eyes. She was relieved to see him open his eyes. Will also became more and more grateful for Lisa's company. From then on, the two became more than just employees. They became friends. Will was even willing, let Lisa shave her beard, to change her appearance. As that handsome face gradually emerged, Lisa looked a little mesmerized. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. That day, Lisa overheard Will's parents arguing. The subject of their conversation was whether they agreed to let Will be euthanized. It turns out that Will had already asked his parents for euthanasia, and the Swiss approval had already been approved. But the parents did not agree at first. But seeing Will torture himself every day, the father couldn't bear it. Lisa stood by and froze. Remembering the scars on Will's wrists, she felt the pain. It was the mark of Will's attempted death. Lisa felt so bad. She didn't even know how to face Will. With the advice of her sister, she decided to rely on her own strength, Will's courage to live. So, Lisa began to learn how to take care of people with disabilities, learn about Will's preferences, and arranging a series of excursions. Then she found excuses to take Will out with them. They were going to a concert. Lisa gets all dressed up. A red dress made Will's eyes light up. When Will says he has a foreign body around his neck, Lisa ignored the looks from others, leaned down. With her teeth, she took off the tag that was sticking out of Will's collar. That was it. Will was deeply touched by the real girl in front of him. Lisa's love of life, and Will's determination was shaken for a moment.
That's something called, you are pretty much the intimate that you want to get it.
Will danced in front of everyone. With this broken body dancing in front of everyone, it's something he never thought he'd be able to do before. But today, he did it. Will's world is healing a little bit, but his weakening body, letting him down with reality. Lisa could see it in her eyes. It was heartbreaking. She decided to take Will on a trip to the beach, sunbathing, read a book together, to feel the storm outside together. She wanted Will to know, there's a lot more to this world, that he deserves to live on. Will also encouraged her to see the bigger world. That night, Lisa danced to the music, dancing on the beach, a funny dance, making Will laugh out loud. When love is in the air, Lisa finds the courage to confess her love to Will. She asks Will to give up euthanasia, but Will refuses.
You never saw me before. I loved my life. I really loved it. That's why I can't have the ties to me. I don't want you to miss all the things that someone else could give you.
Because of deep love, that's why we think of each other. Will didn't want Lisa to waste time on himself, and he offered Lisa to send him to Switzerland, to take the last ride of his life. But who can watch the love of his life die in front of him or her? When Lisa got home, she cried. She couldn't understand that she couldn't change Will's heart to die. The whole family cursed at the outrageousness of the situation. How can you make a patient make that choice? It was like a death wish. Lisa lived each day in chaos, until her father came to her.
You can't change who people are. You love them. No one could have done more than you.
Lisa finally understood, though still with sadness, but she also rushed to Switzerland. She came to Will's side. Will was still in bed with a smile on his face. Lisa joked with him. Not a word about death the whole time. It was hard to let go. But Lisa respected Will's choice. She lay on Will's chest, listening to Will say goodbye in a crying voice. Maybe death is not the end. Forgetting is. Will lives on in Lisa's heart. There are no happy endings for princes and princesses in movies. We can't kidnap emotionally in the name of love. Just like Will, only death can give him dignity. Life is lonely. If you live forever in someone's heart, it's a life well spent.